Hi, good evening, everyone, and welcome back to another story time with Easterseals and USF Health Service Corps. We're very delighted to welcome USF back and their lovely volunteers for another story time. We look forward always to working with them and all the volunteers and the lovely stories that they have picked out for us to share with our families. So I want to welcome Ellen as the head of USF Service Corps, and she will introduce her volunteers. Welcome, Ellen.
Thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Great, thank you. And I'm not the head per se, I'm just the coordinator, and it's a pleasure to work with so many amazing students. We have students here tonight from the Judy Skinshaft Honors College, from the College of Public Health Health Scholars Program, and we the Global Citizens Project, and from the College of Nursing Nurse and Anesthesia Program. So thank you all for joining us. And that's the whole beauty of the Service Corps, is that our students from USF can volunteer together on these interprofessional activities. And we do a lot of health related activities. And we do these literacy activities because literacy is so important. And we work a lot with USF pediatricians who also try to encourage and promote literacy with their patients. So that's why we also incorporate in the literacy. So thank you all so much for being here tonight. And we have 5 great groups of students who will be reading stories to your children and who will also be giving you tips and ideas for fun activities that you can do with your kids. So, thank you all. And we are going to get started right now with our nurse anesthesia students. So, Kavina, why don't you go ahead and introduce everyone else with your group? Thank you all so much.
Hello, everyone. Like Miss Ellen said, my name is Kavina. I am with the Nurse Anesthesia Group at USF. With me tonight, I have Jennifer, Bino, and Tatiana. They're all fellow classmates of mine. And the story that we are going to be sharing today is called Christmas is Coming. Maybe if I can share my screen. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Perfect. We go to the beginning. So like I said, the story is called Christmas is Coming. And let's see if I can take that out. There we go. Waiting for Christmas sure can be hard, but Anna helps out her new baby brother by telling him all of the signs that Christmas is coming, like seeing frost on your window, putting lights on windows, and fences and going on and outings to pick out the most perfect tree. But she also shows her brother how to help the time pass faster by making cookies, presents, and cards for family and friends. When the big day finally arrives, Anna races downstairs to count all the presents under the tree, but suddenly she realizes what the very best Christmas present is really is. And it isn't something that's wrapped under the tree. So, you know, Christmas is coming, I tell my new baby brother, when we wake up one morning and know something is different. You run to the window, breathe a space in the frost, and outside you see snow, falling, swirling, floating through the air. You know Christmas is coming when you see lights like ribbons of stars shining in the dark, glittering, shimmering, everywhere glimmering on trees and fences, windows and doors, and all around the neighborhood. When Mama brings out the red berry wreath and Daddy brings down boxes from the closet asking, now which one has the angel from Grandma? Then I tell my new baby brother, you know Christmas is coming. Waiting for Christmas can be harder than waiting for your birthday or waiting for summer or waiting for a visit from Grandma and Grandpa. But there are things you can do to help with the waiting. You can make cards, Christmas cards for the neighbors or your friends, even a card for the mailman.
Making presents can help the waiting too. Presents for Mama and Daddy, Grandma and Grandpa, even Lucy, our cat. You know, Christmas is coming. I tell my new baby brother when Mama asks, are you ready to write a letter to Santa? Santa likes to know ahead of time what you want to for Christmas. He likes to make sure he has just the right present for you. So every year I spend a long time thinking about my just right present. When I'm finished, I put Santa's letter in the mailbox. Then I always ask Mama, how many more days until Christmas? And she always says, soon, Anna, very soon. You know, Christmas is getting closer. I tell my new baby brother when Daddy says, everyone into the car, it's time to get a tree. Along the way, you sing and sing, oh Christmas tree, until Mama starts singing and then Daddy sings too. And soon the car is cozy and the windows foggy from all that singing.
At the tree place, you walk up and down the rows and rows of trees looking for the perfect tree. But if you take too long, I tell my new baby brother, your body will get shivery, your toes will get tingly, and your ears will get all numbly. So I'm glad when I found our tree. Here it is, I call out. Mama says, this is it. Daddy says, that's the one. And I say, the best tree of all. At home, Daddy strings red and green lights on the tree, and Mama wraps chains of all silver beads all around it. Now your turn, Anna, she tells me. I choose my favorite ornaments, a cat that looks like Lucy, 3 gold stars, and a bell made out of glitter. When we are finished, Daddy holds me way up high so I can put Grandma's angel at the very top. And then our tree is ready for Christmas. You know Christmas is almost here, I tell my new baby brother, when Grandma and Grandpa come from their house in the country to our apartment in the city. We go caroling until our voices are tired and our cheeks are rosy circles. Then we hurry home, ready for cookies and a toasty fire. Now, how many days? I ask Grandma. Together we look at the calendar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days until Christmas. Making cookies to share with the neighbors helps to make the days go by faster. Sugar cookies in all kinds of shapes. Stars and angels, bells and wreaths, even little reindeer. And then
Finally, it's Christmas Eve day, Anna, Mama says. Only one more day of waiting. One very, very, very long day. And the night will feel even longer because you know Santa Claus is on his way. You will lay in bed with your eyes wide open, wiggling and squirming until slowly, slowly you fall sound asleep. And when you wake up, I tell my new baby brother it will be Christmas Day. I always race down the stairs before anyone else and count all the presents under the tree. Then I race back up the stairs to Mama and Daddy's room and shout, Santa was here. That's sure to wake everyone up. I tell my new baby brother. There's a lot of hugging and laughing as we all sit down around the tree, ready to open presents because everyone likes presents on Christmas Day. But this Christmas, I tell my new baby brother, there'll be something different. There'll be something special for all of us. This Christmas, there will be you, and that's the best present of all. What's the best Christmas present of all?
That concludes our story. I think Kavina will explain our activity now.
Yep. So now that we know about Christmas and how it's could be an exciting time to wait, you guys can create a Christmas countdown. So you'll take a paper plate and you'll decorate the plate like Santa. So you can take cotton balls for the beard, and then markers to make his face. And you'll take strips of paper and you'll count them down for each day until Christmas. And you'll make it into a chain. And every day as Christmas gets closer, you'll tear off one piece of the chain until it's finally Christmas morning, and Christmas is here.
Mhm.
I hope everyone enjoys that.
That sounds like a great activity. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. And you could really do that for any holiday. So, people that celebrate other holidays across the world could do that for any other holiday. So, um, that's really cool. And thank you so much for sharing that. Now we have our next group of students from the Honors College. And Audra, would you like to introduce your friends? Thank you.
I absolutely would. Hi, everybody. So there are actually two groups of Honors College students sharing today. We're very excited to have enough people come with us for two groups. But in my group, I'm going to be sharing two stories with you guys, and we're going to show you guys an activity that I think will be fun. I am with my friends Alex and Tatiana, and then our other two friends from the Honors College will be going in the next group. So we are going to start off by reading a very, very fun book I think you guys will like. That is about building a snowman. And I am going to get ready now to share my screen so you guys can see it. And the most exciting part is that this is the biggest snowman ever. I think this will be lots of fun. If my friends in the audience could give me a thumbs up when you guys can see my screen, that would be awesome. And I'll make it nice and big for the audience. So just let me know when you guys can see it. Perfect. I'm very glad. All right. So this is called The Biggest Snowman Ever, and it's by Stephen Kroll, and it was illustrated by Jenny Bassett. And as you can see on the first page here, we have little mice And all right, Alex can take it away.
Once there were two mice who fell in love with the same snowman, and this is how it happened.
On a bright winter day, the mayor of Mouseville announced the town snowman contest. Whoever makes the biggest snowman will win a prize, he declared. All the mice were excited. The judging of the contest will take place in 2 weeks, said the mayor. Good luck to all of you.
I'm gonna make a really big snow princess, said Penelope. I'm gonna make a really big snow Martian, said James. I'm gonna make the biggest snowman ever, said Clayton the house mouse. His friend Desmond, the field mouse, frowned. No, you're not. I'm gonna make the biggest snowman ever. Oh yeah, said Clayton. Oh yeah, said Desmond.
That night, it snowed and snowed. Huge drifts covered driveways, roads, and fields. It was the perfect beginning for a snowman contest. In town, Penelope began her snow princess and James began his snow Martian. Out in the country, Clayton and Desmond began their snowman.
Clayton made a snowball and rolled it along the ground. The more he rolled it, the bigger it got. Before long, he had a large base for his snowman. Not far away, Desmond was doing the same thing.
The next day, Clayton made a huge snowball for his snowman's belly. Not far away, Desmond did the same. These are some big snowballs. Look, this is compared to a little mouse. Wow. They're doing pretty well for little mice. That's impressive.
That night, Clayton brought his dad out to see his snowman. Dad scratched his head. I don't know, son. It's going to be big, but I'm not sure it will be the biggest. Clayton smiled at him. I'm just getting started, he said. Dad whispered in his ear, if you want to work faster, use a wheelbarrow to carry the snow.
A little later, Desmond brought out his Uncle Vernon. I don't know, said Vernon. It's going to be big, but will it be the biggest? Desmond smiled. I'm just getting started, he said. Vernon whispered in his ear. If you want to work faster, use the wheelbarrow to carry the snow.
The next day, Clayton filled his wheelbarrow with snow. He piled the snow onto the snowman. Then he rolled another snowball for the snowman's head. Not far away, Desmond did the same.
A few days later, Desmond ran into town to look at James's snow Martian and Penelope's snow princess. He said, all of our snow people are the same size. That afternoon, Clayton made the same discovery.
The next day, while working on his snowman, Clayton had an idea. He brushed the snow off his gloves and walked toward Desmond. At the same moment, Desmond had an idea. He brushed the snow off his gloves and walked toward Clayton. They bumped into each other and fell down.
I have an idea, said Clayton. I have an idea, said Desmond. We should do this together, said Clayton. No one said we couldn't, said Desmond.
First, they rolled each part of Desmond's snowman over to the middle of the field. Then they rolled each part of Clayton's snowman over. They piled the snowballs on top of one another. Clayton dropped a floppy hat onto the snowman's head. Desmond added a long scarf, huge coal eyes, and a giant carrot nose.
When they were done, they had built the biggest snowman ever. The morning of the contest, field mice on snowmobiles brought the judges into the country.
You both win the prize, said the mayor, handing Clayton and Desmond a large wedge of Swiss cheese. Let the celebration begin. Everyone gathered to dance around the snowman, drink hot chocolate, and eat donuts.
We did it, said Clayton and Desmond, jumping up and down. We did it together.
And that is the end of our book, our first book. That was so sweet. I like that it tells the power of working together, and it's always fun to read a book about a big snowman. I think you can never fail when you're reading a book like that. Now I'm going to try and tactfully switch my screen and show you guys a different, it is here, I'm just gonna stop the share and show you guys a little craft in between our two books. Even though we don't get very much snow here in Florida, it is fun to try and build big things or small things or winter crafts sometimes, even if we can't make the biggest of the snowman. So I am going to show you a nifty little tool that'll help you make these pretty ornaments. And I'm going to share my screen and show you some beautiful paper ornaments right now. So these, I think it's going to come up in just a second, are called vintage paper ornaments. And I also have a template that I'm going to ask our lovely coordinators to put in the description or the chat of this meeting. And basically you take this template that I'll be able to send you guys and you put it on construction paper, and then you trace along the template of the ornament, and then you have a beautiful construction paper shape that you can cut out, and it looks like these. All of them are on the template, and then you can decorate with marker or glitter or buttons. They have pipe cleaner on here. You can do it any way you want. You can draw little pictures, maybe even some mice building a big snowman, and then you have little paper ornaments for your tree. And I just think that's so much fun and an easy craft for the whole family to do, and I hope you guys like that one. And before I hand it off to the other group that is here with me today, I am going to pull up another book for us to read. And this one is about catching Santa. So I'm going to share my screen for the final time this evening, and we are going to read How to Catch Santa. I will give it just a second to come up. This is called How to Catch Santa by Jean Reagan and illustrated by Lee Wildish. Are we ready, friends? Let us begin.
After waiting for days and days and days, it's finally Christmas Eve, and that's when you can try to catch Santa.
As you know, Santa's very busy and you won't be able to keep him for long, so plan ahead. Figure out how to make the most of your time. First of all, don't you have a million questions to ask him? Questions for Santa. How do you squeeze down chimneys? How do you stay clean? What about houses with no chimneys? How fast do reindeer fly to get everywhere in one night? What's their fuel? Magic? Do elves ever sneak a ride in your sleigh? What about kids? How do you find kids who are going away on trips? What's your favorite toy? Do you get mountains and mountains of letters? Who invents new toys at your workshops? The elves? Mrs. Claus? You? Do you really eat cookies at everyone's house?
Maybe you have things you want to tell him. Things to tell Santa. I'm trying very hard to be good. My sister is too, even if it doesn't look like it. Thank you for the presents. Sorry, I always forget to send a thank you note. I know what my mom and dad want. They were too busy to write to you.
And maybe you have things you want to give him. Santa will love that. Things to give Santa. A headlamp for going down dark, dark chimneys. A nose warmer for cold sleigh rides. Drawings of Santa with your family. And homemade Christmas decorations for Mrs. Claus.
Okay, now you know what you'll do when you catch Santa. It's time to figure out how to do it. Definitely don't try anything too wild and crazy. Lassoing Santa, distracting him with a giant candy cane,
Luring him into a snow trap, tying nets between palm trees.
Instead, be crafty, be clever, be gentle. If you're very lucky, you will actually catch Santa, but you might only catch a glimpse of him, or you might just find Santa's been here clues. Plan for all these possibilities. Early on Christmas Eve, write Santa a note and fill it with glitter. When he opens it, glitter will sprinkle all over him, and he'll leave a trail. That's the Santa's been here clue.
Scatter carrots in your yard or on the windowsill.
Write Santa riddles, but don't give the answers yet. Bake him cookies. Instead of putting them by the tree, draw arrows around to draw arrows leading to your room. String bells and chimes above the cookies. That way, he'll make a racket and wake you up.
Now try to be patient. While you wait, sing Christmas songs or read books about Santa. Maybe you'll even get some new Santa catching ideas. When your mom and dad, ask your mom and dad if they ever tried to catch Santa when they were kids. Do they have any tricks? Check with your grandma and grandpa too.
When it starts to get dark, Santa and his reindeer begin their rounds. Have everyone keep an eye out the window.
If your family makes lots of noise, laughing, eating, talking, playing games, say shh every now and then, and listen for Santa sounds.
Santa sounds. Santa doing stretches on your neighbor's roof. Sleigh bells. Reindeer whinnying in the distance. Ho, ho, ho. Or elves giggling.
When you start to get sleepy, make last-minute preparations. Leave the Christmas tree lights on to help Santa see his way around. Rudolph with the nose so bright can't help him from the roof.
Set out your Santa riddles with a note. That's a way to, try to wake me up. Santa won't be able to resist. Is your puppy a good watchdog? A good, gentle watchdog? If yes, then let him stay in your bedroom.
Remember, Santa won't come to your house until you're asleep. Before you lay your head on your pillow, peek out the window one last time. Good luck catching Santa, and
Merry Christmas! And if you don't catch Santa this time, don't worry, there's always next year.
And that is the end of our second book. That was so awesome. We had a great time sharing with you guys. Have wonderful winter holidays this year, and we will pass it off to the next group.
Thank you so much. And now we have our next group of Honors College students, and Din and Hannah. So we'll let you
Yes.
get started.
Thank you, Miss Allen. Thank you, Audra, and everyone. So we're gonna take over now. Me and my partner Hannah are here to read for you two books and share also one activities. So the first book that we're gonna read is The Night Before Christmas. I think it's a classic, and it's originally known as A Visit from St. Nicholas. And I believe that this book has a great impact on our Christmas tradition of gift giving and how the concepts of Santa Claus overall. So my partner Hannah is gonna share the screen right now, and we'll go from it.
Okay, so it's saying that I have to go through system preferences really quick, so little time. I'm so sorry about that.
The Night Before Christmas, or A Visit from St. Nicholas, the classic edition.
"'Twas the night before Christmas, when all through the house, not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse.
The children were nested, all snug in their beds, while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads.
When out on the lawn there arose such a clatter, I sprang from the bed to see what was the matter.
Away to the window I flew like a flash, tore open the shutters and threw up the sash.
The moon on the breast of the new fallen snow gave the luster of midday to objects below.
when what to my wondering eyes should appear but a miniature sleigh and 8 tiny reindeer.
With a little old driver, so lively and quick, I knew in a moment it must be Saint Nick.
More rapid than eagles, his coursers they came, and he whistled and shouted and called them by name. Now Dasher, now Danier, now Prancer and Vixen, on Comet, on Cupid, on Downer and Blitzen.
To the top of the porch, to the top of the wall. Now dash away, dash away, dash away all. As dry leaves that before the wild hurricane fly, when they meet with an obstacle, mount to the sky.
To the top of the porch, to the top of the wall. So up to the housetop, the coursers they flew, with a sleigh full of toys and Saint Nicholas too.
And then, in a twinkling, I heard on the roof the prancing and pawing of each little hoof.
As I drew in the head and was turning around, down the chimney Saint Nicholas came with a bound.
A bundle of toys he had flung on his back, and he looked like a peddler just opening his sack.
His eyes, how they twinkle, his dimples, how merry, his cheeks were like roses, his nose is like a cherry.
His droll little mouth was drawn up like a bow, and the beard on his chin was as white as the snow.
He had a broad face and a little round belly that shook when he laughed like a bowl full of jelly. He was chubby and plump, a right jolly old elf, and I laughed when I saw him, in spite of myself.
A wink of his eye and a twist of his head soon gave me to know I had nothing to dread.
He spoke not a word, but went straight to his work, and filled all the stockings, then turned with a jerk.
And laying his finger aside of his nose and giving a nod, up the chimney he rose.
He sprang to his sleigh, to his team gave a whistle, and away they all flew like the down of a thistle.
But I heard him exclaim, ere he drove out of sight, "Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night."
And that's it for our first storybook. Now me and Hannah is gonna share to you a little fun activities that you and your family can do during the Christmas holiday, which is book coloring. We have a lot of samples on the internet that you can use, put it out on a piece of paper and color with your family and have a great time. So now I think Audra is gonna share with you a link and also drop it in the chat box so that you can check on it later. We can also share what our favorite sample is.
I am pulling it up right this second. Sorry for the delay. Here we are. Here are some really good winter coloring pages.
So this is some of the samples of coloring paper. My favorite is probably the penguin one. All the samples that have the penguin, because I really see it as an image of Christmas. Although we have penguins everywhere in winter, not in my country, but I do see it around on the internet. Hannah, what's your favorite?
So it was the penguin, but I'm gonna have to change my mind. I think I'm gonna have to stick with the snowman that was right next to it. If you can go up a little bit, please, Audra. That snowman is so cute. Obviously in Florida, once again, we cannot build snowmen, but if we could, I would build a huge one, like the book that Alex and the former group read before.
Yeah, that's great. So you and your family can check it out when you're free and have a great time. There's a lot of samples that you can pick out. You can use this link or just type it out on Google, coloring sample for Christmas or winter, and you'll have everything available for you just in a split of second. Now we're gonna move ahead to our second book, which is a book about a crow. And I think this one is pretty interesting.
Let me pause for this.
All right, this is our last book for the day. It's Charlie Crow in the Snow.
At the top, I am so sorry, Din. You want to go?
Thank you. At the top of the grassy hill overlooking a stream stood Charlie's tree. He was so proud of his magnificent home.
Thank you. Sometimes Bear and Swallow come to visit, and they told stories and watched the sun set. Charlie felt like the happiest crow alive, but all of that was before the strange happenings started.
First, the sun disappeared, leaving the sky gray and cold. Maybe it's staying in bed, thought Charlie.
A few days later, the leaves on his tree started to flutter away quickly. Stop! Come back, he squawked.
He got the biggest surprise of all. Somebody had turned the water to glass.
Poor Charlie, how confusing it all was. Bear and Swallow will know what's going on, he thought, and he hopped off to find them. But all around was oddly quiet.
Charlie was just about to give up his search when he bumped into a squirrel who looked confused too. Have you noticed all these strange happenings? She whimpered.
Later, white flakes started floating down from the sky. Oh dear, exclaimed Charlie. These look like bits of a cloud. But clouds belong in the sky, cried Squirrel. Next, it'll be the stars.
And maybe even the moon will fall down, she shrieked. Suddenly, her squealing was interrupted by a deep, growly voice.
Go to sleep. There you are, Bear, exclaimed Charlie. Help us. The clouds are falling down and the water has turned to glass.
Oh, Charlie, laughed Bear. It's not glass, it's ice. He told them all about the cold winter, when Swallow fly far away to the sunshine and Bear stay in bed to keep warm. Charlie and Squirrel peered into Bear's den. It looks so cozy. You're very welcome to join me for a snooze, he said. Oh, thanks, Bear, squeaked Squirrel, and on they went.
Charlie and Squirrel concentrated hard on falling asleep, but
they were just about to reach the chorus when Bear sat bolt upright. Enough, bears need their sleep, he boomed. You two fidgety fleas will have to go. Shoo!
back outside in the cold, Squirrel's teeth started chattering. What now? She asked. Well, said Charlie, if we can't sleep through the winter, let's fly away like Swallow.
At Charlie's tree, Squirrel was in charge of packing for the journey. Just a snack or two to keep us going, she said.
Charlie steadied himself for takeoff, then took an enormous leap. Sunshine, here we come, he squawked.
Oh no, cried Squirrel.
Oh, help, they both cried together. They closed their eyes and waited for the crash landing.
But instead, they landed fluff in a soft, snowy heap.
That, said Squirrel breathlessly, was the most fun ever.
And they soon discovered there was plenty more fun to be had in the snow. Isn't winter perfect? Laughed Squirrel.
Oh yes, Charlie agreed, although I wish Bear and Swallow were with us.
Then a lovely idea crept into Squirrel's mind. Charlie, she said, all this fun has made me very hungry. I'm going to go and get us a snack.
Squirrel was gone for a long time. Where is she? Charlie wondered.
His tummy was starting to rumble, so he hopped up the hill to find her.
Surprise, giggled Squirrel. I made them just for you, Charlie. They'll keep us company until the real Bear and Swallow come back.
Oh, Squirrel, said Charlie. Thank you. What a lovely thing to do.
Snow Bear and Snow Swallow didn't say much, but that didn't matter.
As Charlie and Squirrel watched the snow glowing pinkly under the setting sun, Charlie once again felt like the happiest crow alive. And that's the end of our storybook. I hope you really enjoyed it. And that is all that Volcom has to offer. Thank you so much for your time and patience. Now we're going to pass it down to the next group.
Thank you so much. And now we will hand it over to our two students who are in the college, Jada and May, who are in the College of Public Health Scholars Program. And thank you both so much.
Hi everyone, my name is May and I'm here with my partner Jada, and like she previously said, we're representing the College of Public Health Scholars Program, and we're going to be reading a classic for you guys today. So Jada's going to go ahead and pull that up for us in just a second. Alrighty, so we're going to be reading How the Grinch Got So Grinchy. Unlike the Who's, who like Christmas a lot, the Grinch in his cave on Mount Crumpet did not. He was born to hate Christmas, most people will say, but maybe his life was what made him that way. 'Twas the night before Christmas, quite some time ago. The night new-who babies fell down with the snow. They fell down to earth on their soft Pumbracellas, these little who gals and these little who fellas. The who parents greeted each bundle of joy, except for this one somewhat sad little boy. No who seemed to hear him, or want him, or need him. No who came to hug him, or clean him, or feed him. At long last, two who gals came out and they found the source of a most unadorable sound. They got down the baby who hung in a tree, they pulled back the blanket, and what did they see? A fuzz-covered baby? Yes, fuzzed every inch. He wasn't a who, so they called him a Grinch. The two gals, they fed him and cleaned him and oiled him. They fussed over him. Yes, those gals really spoiled him. The Grinch was their pride and the Grinch was their joy. They treated him like any other who boy. With all of his fuzz, he was really quite cute. Come winter, he went out without a snowsuit. Without a snowsuit. Yes, life for the boy was dandy and cool. Until the first day of his life at Who School. The students, they stared and they teased him as well. They made fun of his fangs and his funky Grinch smell. The teacher, Miss Ruhu, whose job was to teach him, was not very good, but she still tried to reach him. She drummed in the lesson that every who knows, from the ends of their hairs to the tips of their toes.
Put Christmas ahead of all other Who days. Make Christmas your mission in millions of ways. Deck every hall and shop till you drop. Jingles those bells and don't you dare stop. Is it all really worth it? The Grinch had to mutter, and then something happened to make his heart flutter. Young Martha May Whovier was staring and winking. Could she really like me? The Grinch started thinking. Jubilations tomorrow, Miss Ruhu told the gang as she slammed the book shut and the Who school bell rang. Bring in a present for a special some Who. Go out and shop. Show what you can do. He went home and worked with some junk that he had. For a bunch of old junk, it did not look so bad. This angel will sit on top of her tree. Whenever she sees it, she will think of me. He found an old razor inside an old sack. He started to scrape and he started to hack. So bad was the job that he did on his face. The next day he hid from the whole human race. Miss Ruhu took one look at the Grinch and she said, "Please take that paper bag off of your head." Now, August Mayhew, who would one day be mayor, liked Martha May too, and he did not play fair. This guy must be under some kind of a curse. The face or the gift, I can't tell which is worse. The Who gang went bonkers. They laughed and they jeered. August, a boss who was the cheer they all cheered. Your Christmas is stupid, the Grinch then cried out. He started to scream and he started to shout. He started to jump and he started to thrash until all that he touched had been turned into trash. So off the Grinch went to a cave on Mount Crumpet. As for the Who's, they could like it or lump it. He stayed in his cave with a sneer on his face, hating the Who's and the whole human race. He lived all alone. Yes, these are the facts, except for his cute little puppy dog, Max. So whenever the meaning of Christmas gets hazy and the seasonal crunch makes you go a bit crazy, just think of the Grinch in his cave far away. And remember, he wasn't always that way. And forget all the things you have read or heard. The Grinch needs a good friend and he needs a good word. And that concludes our book. Thank you so much. And next we have our little activity that is also Grinch inspired. It pretty much, so the Grinch stole Christmas, but then he ended up saving Christmas as well. So as you can see, this game is about getting as many presents as you can, and pretty much the color that is here on this platform, you just aim and then click, and then you collect presents, and you're just trying to help Santa out and save Christmas. Thank you so much again, and happy holidays.
Thank you so much. That was fun. That looks like a fun activity, too. Now we're going to conclude with Isha Harsh, who has a wonderful story about holidays around the world. And what a wonderful way to finish up tonight because so many of us celebrate different holidays at different times of the year. And so we'll have Isha read her story. And then I think after her story, we can also share with everyone what we like about the December break and the holiday season and why it's special to us. So, kids, while you're listening to that story, the story that Isha's going to read, maybe you can think why you like the holiday season too.
Awesome. Thank you, Mrs. Kent. Yes, like Mrs. Kent said, my story is going to be about different holidays around the world. December is definitely a special time of the year, and many people celebrate holidays around the end of the year, but many people also celebrate holidays all throughout the year. So I'm hoping this story can highlight the holidays we celebrate throughout the entire year and get to spend time with some friends and families in those special days. So let me go ahead and share my screen. All right. So let's celebrate special days around the world. Let's bake some treats. Let's light the lights. We just can't wait for fun days and bright nights. On Kodomo no Hi, we get quite a treat. We unwrap oak leaves and find rice cakes to eat. The fish flags we hang represent family. My father, my mother, my brother, and me. Bright New Year lanterns we hang about doors. Wishes happy spring festival, good luck galore. Midnight arrives, the fireworks begin to chase away winter and let springtime in. We reach Matariki when 9 bright stars rise. We gather by firelight, eyes on the skies. It's an earth oven feast when the dawn light appears. We let go of loved ones we've lost the last year. Today is Inti Raymi. The shell's trumpet blast tells the crowd to be quiet. The king's going past. He's costumed in gold and a rainbow of shades. We give thanks for the sun on the year's shortest day. Carnival night brings quite the display. Our crowns burst with feathers as sequined backs sway. The streets filled with samba, parade floats roll by as dozens of dancers reach up to the sky. Midsummer is here. Bring flowers and greens. We'll dance and make crowns like we're all queens and queens. On this warm summer solstice, when day stretches long, it's fun to make merry with picnics and song. Our lush Nowruz table is covered in dishes, with bean sprouts and flowers and apples and fishes. We all crowd around it to welcome the spring, giving thanks for the fresh start that each new year brings. We clean out our kitchen and sweep up the crumbs, then gather at sundown when Passover comes. Why is this night different? Our brig sitter meal shows that we're glad for the freedom we feel. It's New Yam Festival. Harvest is done. We share all the yams. The king gets the first one. Piling dishes with yams so high they might fall, we could eat them all night and not finish them all. Novi God falls in winter and marks the new year. We welcome midnight sharing food and good cheer. We open our gifts, the tree twinkling above. We say, Snowim Godom to those that we love. Today is Eid al-Fitr. Blow up the balloons. Ramadan's at an end when we spot the new moon. We say Eid Mubarak to friends after prayers. Then the smells of a great 3-day feast fill the air. On Dia de Muertos, the Day of the Dead, we make altars with gifts, orange flowers, and bread. Warm candle glow fills the graveyards with light. We pray that our loved ones return for the night. Night shines like day when the Diwali dusk falls, and we toast the idea that good conquers all. We light tiny oil lamps, each one a small spark. When we gather, the light overpowers the dark. When it's time to celebrate, we know the way. We can all come together no matter the day. The end. And here are some facts about the different festivals. I really liked this book because I learned about a lot of festivals that I didn't even know about that different cultures across the world celebrate. So I hope that it was not only an entertaining experience, but also a learning experience for you all. And thank you for having me. It was really nice getting into holiday spirit with all of you and hearing your stories.
That was a wonderful story. So maybe what we can do now is some of our students can share, if you want, it's totally optional, but what your favorite holiday of the year is, and what you may remember from growing up as a child. So Hannah, do you want to share anything?
Yes, ma'am. So my family has always made Christmas a big deal. Both my parents work out of town during the week, so we tend to see each other only on the weekends. And as I've grown older, we've definitely had the time. We haven't had as much time to get together. So just being able to spend Christmas with them is definitely a gift every year. So.
Would someone else like to share something?
Yeah, I'd like to share. A lot when I was a kid, my favorite holiday was probably Halloween. Not just because of the candy, but also just because that's when I get to see all my friends. We'd always go trick-or-treating together in a big group. And it was always just fun to get to talk with them and hang out with them for a long night every year.
I think my favorite holiday, like Hannah, is also Christmas. I like being able to spend a lot of time with my family and eating good food. And I love the music that comes with Christmas. That's my favorite part.
My favorite is probably the Vietnamese Christmas version. Sorry, the the Christmas version that we celebrate here in Vietnam. It's called the Tết holiday, and it's the date kind of change every year because we use the lunar calendar, which depends on the moon, and like it's not the same for every year, but it usually starts on February, and it's kind of like a mix between Christmas and Thanksgiving because we do in fact eat a lot of pie on that holiday. We have a very special rectangle green pie that represents the earth, and we have also a small and rounded pie that represent like the sky and the sun. So you can imagine what we celebrate on that day. It's all about our ancestors. It's about because we're like a farming country, so we appreciate a lot what nature gives us, and that's how our country thrives.
Cool. Do you do any special crafts for that? Do the children do any special crafts, arts and crafts?
I mean, for crafts, yeah, we do have a lot of that, but maybe you guys have heard about the concept of giving away lucky money that the adults give it away to the children. And I think that, to appear attractive enough to get that lucky money is an art of itself, especially as you age. Like now I'm 18, but I still don't want to like get dropped out of that list. So I have to, appear nice and appreciative all the time, which is really a nice trick. Usually we don't get to keep that money if you're too young, then the adults will find a way to trade it. For example, I'll use the US currency here, but like if Miss Ellen gives me $1 for my lucky, sorry, not $1, for example, $10 for my lucky money. So then my parents would say, okay, that's one piece of paper. Now I'm gonna give you 5 pieces of paper, and they're gonna give me like five pieces of $1, which is like in a total of $5 only. And yeah, that's how, that's how the business works. But the kids loves it anyway. It's a celebration for them.
I think that's very interesting. And did you say that takes place in February?
It is. It depends on the lunar calendar, but yes, usually in the beginning of February.
Great. Well, that is so cool because the holiday that we celebrate in my culture is Hanukkah. That's my favorite holiday. And I have very good memories of when we were children. My dad and his father would line up all the cousins, and there were a lot of cousins, and they would give us what was called Hanukkah gelt, Gelt. And you can even go into Publix now, and well, it's past Hanukkah, but they'll have little bags with chocolate in it, which is supposed to look like Hanukkah gelt. So that's very similar tradition. So I think that's really cool too, and I have good memories of that as a child. And another thing is, like, my dad's not too well now, so the next time I call him, I'll say, "Hey, Dad, remember the Hanukkah gelt?" And that will give him good memories. So that's a good thing that you can do for your grandparents or great grandparents, to always remind them and thank them for the good memories that you had as a child with your traditions.
But I think it's beautiful that we have so many traditions to celebrate. And that's the first time I've heard of this, Miss Ellen, and I've definitely checked it out. But while enrolling at USF, I've learned about so many traditions. I didn't know Thanksgiving was a huge thing, but now I do. And I think we don't celebrate it here, but if our country decided to celebrate Thanksgiving, I mean, I'll take it like extra holiday. Like, why not?
Great. And again, this is why it's so nice that we do these service projects together, because a nursing student had recently told me about a Lucky Money craft that she wants to do. So I'm going to connect you so that we can do that together. Maybe with the Easterseals kids, we could do that. And I'll invite her. And maybe you can find a story about that. What is that holiday called again?
It is TET.
TET, great.
Yeah.
So maybe we can do something in February, and you and that other student can read a story about Tet and show the kids how to do the craft. That would be great. See,
That would be wonderful.
Out. Yeah. So we can do like winter holidays, and that would be good. And, Valentine's Day and the Tet holiday. So that would be fun. Does anyone have any other stories that you would like to share? Kavina, do you have any stories that you might like to share about your favorite holidays?
So similarly, a festival that I celebrate is called Diwali, and it was in the book that we read today, that Isha read. It's the Festival of Lights, and I wouldn't say it's similar to Christmas, but it's like a New Year's for India. Everybody just dresses up nicely, a lot of good food, and it's just a lot of like family time to like just kind of celebrate the New Year's. A lot of desserts is what I remember growing up with Diwali. But that is probably my favorite holiday, just because everybody is just very joyous and happy, and everything is just decorated nicely. Very artistic holiday as well.
Cool. And again, here's another common similarity. Hanukkah is also, besides for giving out the gelt, which the kids like, but the theme is Festival of Lights. And I didn't know till recently that Diwali is Festival of Lights. So I think that's so cool. And so much of what holidays is about is appreciating our families. Just like in that story that you all read, the Christmas story with a little brother, because that was the best gift. So thank you. And now, kids, Easterseals families, I hope that you'll share with your kids. I hope that you'll share with your parents your favorite holidays, and maybe you can draw a special picture.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. There were some wonderful stories that were shared here this evening, new ones that I hadn't heard of. The story of the Grinch and how he became the Grinch was a new one on me, so I enjoyed that one very much. And the Charlie Crow one was a very cute story as well. So we'll be adding those to our library for sure. So I want to thank USF Health Service Corps and Ellen and all of the students for taking the time to be with us this evening and sharing the wonderful stories that they shared. All right, everyone, have a good evening.
Thank you. Happy holidays, everyone. Stay well.